up as now morning, baby. Get around for my shoes. No bad I had these. Oh, walking blues, love. Me in the morning, baby. Get around, go for my shoes. But you know bad I had these. He no walking blues. Well, alrighty. My name is Delta Lou, and today we're going to be discussing The Walking Blues by Robert Johnson. And welcome to the lesson. First and foremost, before we begin, there's always this portion where I like to talk about having the proper accessories to have with you in playing this music, and that is, if you're playing Delta Blues music or Robert Johnson's music, having a Resophonic guitar doesn't hurt. It's the best equipped to play this music. But again, for the purposes of the song, any guitar will do. It doesn't really matter. But if you want the best results, have a Resophonic guitar like this one, for example. I also recommend using plastic finger picks. One for the thumb and one for the index finger. This is crucial because it doesn't scratch up the surface of the guitar, and it's comfortable on your fingers. I highly discourage you from getting metal finger picks because they are very hard to press onto your finger. Also, we'll be utilizing a slide. I like to use brass slides for depending on the style of playing. So for a very tough, rugged Delta Blues sound, brass on the Resophonic guitar is a very good option. And last and least, but not least, having a capo is very instrumental in studying the music, and it's highly recommended to have one always with you so that you can adjust to the tones and keys that the artists are playing in. So to begin, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna tune up our guitars to each other. So right now I'm tuned to open G tuning. This is the tuning that Robert Johnson is using in this song. It's also a tuning that he uses for Crossroad Blues, Stones in My Pathway, and Terraplane Blues. So this is a very good tuning for slide as well, very basic slide tuning. And in The Walking Blues, Robert Johnson is utilizing it. So what we're going to do is just tune to a basic open G tuning as our default. So this means that my first string is going to be a D, and let's tune up to each other. This is my first top string, a D. This is my fifth string, which would be a G. This is my fourth string. This is a D. This is my third string. This is a G. This is my second string. It's a B. And finally, this is my last string, the bottom string. This is a D. And all together it sounds like this. Okay. So let's, now that we're all tuned up to each other, what I'm going to be discussing here is right hand techniques that are pivotal, especially for this song. So in this kind of style of playing Delta blues, especially with Robert Johnson's slide pieces, what you want to do is have your right arm draped like this, do like a shadow puppet, and tilt your hand like this, so it rests in between the end of the fretboard and the bridge, and is positioned like this. Now with your right arm positioned like this, what you want to do is, with the outer palming, with the outer lining of your palm, like this area here, you want it to just rest over all 6 strings gently. Just rest over it like this. And with your thumb, the outer lining of your thumb, this portion here, is going to be resting above the 6th and 5th strings, like this. You see, like that, resting like this. Your thumb is always going to be in this position to strike the individual bass notes, which will be predominantly on the 6th and 5th strings. And they're always going to supplement this complementary bass tone. It's a monotonic bass accompaniment that's used in Delta blues music. It's part of the dead thumb tradition of Robert Johnson, along with the likes of many other artists. And the thumb is going to be the driver to pulsate the bass accompaniment. It also provides as like a rhythm section for you as you play individual, as you will play licks and so forth. The thumb is going to be that driver to keep it constant. But before we play any notes, it's imperative that we kind of discuss the right hand techniques and position. And the thumb is going to be free to strike the 6th and 5th strings, and your index finger is going to pick out the individual strings on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. You're going to be picking up, dragging up the strings upward, picking those strings. And what you're going to have is an interplay. So basically like pinching together as you play. The thumb is going to be playing the bass notes. Your index finger is going to be mainly picking out individual strings or playing chords. And then you can do double stops, and so you'll be having this motion. Now the interplay between the thumb and the index finger is going to make an appearance significantly in the course of the Walking Blues song. And that's what we're going to go over here today. So first and foremost, Robert Johnson plays this song in open F sharp tuning. He plays it four tones higher. So if you'll notice something about Robert Johnson's music is that he plays in very high keys, and unfortunately you cannot tune your guitar to open F sharp tuning because you'll break all your strings, so you have to have a capo with you. That's if you want to play along with what's being heard in the original recording by Robert Johnson. You would put your capo on the 4th fret and you would be in tone. But for our learning purposes, we're going to just stick to the regular open G tuning, which is a very common arrangement, and the default tuning, and it will be good for the purposes of our learning so that we can look at the neck board, which it would be free of capos, so that you can make your adjustments accordingly. So before we begin, I just wanted to talk about the right hand technique. the right hand positioning, the accessories that you need, and the tuning. So what now we're going to do is go over the introduction of walking blues, and it's going to sound a little bit like this. And that's what we're going to be going over here. So the introduction goes, the whole nature of Walking Blues, the song, is it's at a faster tempo. So a lot of the things you do are a little bit quicker. It's like a tempo of 80 or 75 or 80, along the lines of that. And with this introduction, you're just going to be utilizing this this sliding on the 12th fret, and you're just going to slide all the way to the 3rd fret. And what he's doing here, I'll play again the example. This first part, which goes like this, it's quite simple. With the slide, what you're going to do is you're going to take the slide, you're going to hover over pretty much the entire 12th fret. And you're not going to press too hard. You're just going to have this kind of gentle tension so that the rings are able to ring out. I'm not pressing that hard. I'm just having a light tension. And with your hand resting like this, like how I talked about earlier, your index finger is going to be playing these upstrokes over the 12th fret, like this. And you're just playing the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings in this progression. And he plays that however many times. It's just like a combination of like between 8 to 12 strokes. It doesn't have a very set number of times. It's just about getting into this fast introduction. So he does this, and how it all plays out will sound like this. And then that next portion, he just goes, after he plays this a few times, plays that a few times, and then he does this. You slide all the way throughout the whole entire neckboard over to the 3rd fret. So once you do that, the next thing he does is this. And he plays 3 chords there. And that's going to be open. Then with the slide, you're going to play over the 3rd fret, over the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings, all with the index finger. 1, 2, 3. And then when you put it all together, it's like this. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And then after he does this, he plays this just one downstroke with the thumb. Just one downstroke on the 6th string open. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like this. first part of the introduction. Very easy. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So after he plays this turnaround, very typical Robert Johnson's turnaround, which is like this. And what he's doing there is he's taking his index finger, he's fretting the top string on the 3rd fret, and with his middle finger he's playing the 4th string on the 3rd fret. And you just play that chord like this with downstrokes with your thumb. You play that 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, and then you, maintaining the same fingering, you just slide up the neckboard to the 2nd fret, then to the 1st fret, maintaining the same fingering, and then you play an open chord. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from the beginning, introduction will be like this. That last portion here, but that was about just getting this. So after he plays this, he plays this portion. And what he's doing there is he's locating the 5th string on the 3rd fret. He slides over the 3rd and 4th frets on the 5th string like this. 3rd fret, 4th fret. So he slides, then he plays an open string on the 4th string, and then he plays the top string open. That is the full extent of the introduction. So from the beginning it's like this. So that's the introduction. And now we're going to go over the verses of the song. So after he plays this introduction like this, I would recommend that you start tapping your feet about 3 times before he gets into this portion, which goes like this. But the tricky part about this is going from the introduction into that verse is that transition, which is like dead time. So in some way you have to compensate for the rhythm, and this is how I'm going to show it to you. So from the introduction there is going to be this gap, and I'll show you how to dissolve it. We'll go like this. Got up this morning, I've been around for my shoes. So I recommend just tapping your feet 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Got up this morning, I've been around for my shoes. So it will be hard to transition into that verse. So what I'm trying to implement is that after you